No, and I just want to say it's nice to see everyone. I hope that you are as delighted with the new book as I am. I think it's absolutely marvelous. A huge, huge thank you to Elizabeth and Carol and also Kim, who keeps this all flowing because if the money isn't there, we can't do anything. That's the reality of it all.
Yeah.
And this book was especially challenging because you may not be aware, but the printer that we'd been using locally, Edition One, closed down, and their last projects were in June.
Wow.
And Carol made the heroic um, effort and went through different publishers and looked at things that were online that we would look for something local and finally made a decision to work with someone here locally that she'd worked with before. And I think we're very fortunate to have completed this whole project. So
Wow. That-
huge thing, especially, I mean, I'm always grateful to Elizabeth and Carol, but especially with this last volume and seeing this whole cycle come to fruition like this. It's been really marvelous. Um, I want to just say two things about the books and the book project. One is everyone has put in a lot of effort to write these six different um, essays that you have written yourself. And you've gotten images of your old work together with the data and information. You have gotten old photographs of yourself. And now that you have these wonderful bits and pieces, I would recommend to each of you just to put them into a print on demand format and get yourself a little book with each decade put together that way. So you have a little history. You've done all this work, you have all the materials together and assembled, and you could put a book together on Blurb or Lulu, certainly on Blurb in about 15 minutes. And you would have something there that you could print up when you wanted, as you wanted, or just to keep together in one place for yourself. So I think that's really, what we would call low-hanging fruit and a
Mm.
great way of getting double duty out of the labors that you put into this. And in a similar way, I want to tell you that and this has been my intention for a long time. I just didn't want to jinx this with our project, but I'd always envisioned this as being something that would come together as a nice anthology. And so I have already reached out to a press and am in conversation about having them put together and published, which would be really, I think, wonderful to have it all together in one piece. So I will keep you informed where that goes, how it develops or doesn't develop. There are shortcomings that were in the initial conversation. The person who does acquisitions already said that anthologies are very difficult. And that's not what they focus on with their press. They're much more interested in monographs, which is something that you might want to think about for yourself in the future. And so I will tell you that I've been talking to UC Press, which seemed to be a good place to start. Um, anyway, it's not over. We're working on that. Um, then I'm trying to go really quickly because there are a lot of things I want to talk about. And I want to have time for us all to also talk about the works that you've been doing and how involved you've been with your own legacy planning. Um, Materials and process videos. So I still urge you to either make one with someone else or contact me. I'm happy to go through this with you. We have Mary Curtis's up, we have Liz's up, we have mine up, and we have Kim's up. Um, there are other materials that are not presented, and you have to remember that this is something that's going to be there when you can't speak for the work, when you can't say, this is what I use. These are the paints I use. These are the pigments. These are the yarns. These are the kinds of fibers that I wove in. All of those kinds of things. We won't be able to speak from the grave about that. So I really urge you to have this as a starting point and a resource on our website. I think that our website as a resource is something that will have incredible value that we don't recognize now because we're not at that point yet. We can still speak, but for the future. And that's what we're trying to do is talk about, having something for that legacy that's going to make it easier for the curator, the scholar, the conservator when they want to take something in to a museum collection, for instance. So please, a good time to reach and set up a time with me if you want me to do this with you would be to think about um, May. So like second week, third week in May is a really good time. I know a lot of people right now are working on taxes and other things, and it's kind of close and tight, but think, 4 weeks out, 5 weeks out, it'd be a really good time, and I would be available for that.
What are
Um,
you calling this, Jan? Are you calling it a print on, materials and process program?
if you go to our website, which I recommend, I mean, just like delight in this website because it is amazing, amazing thing unto itself. And look at the videos, and there's a page of videos just for materials and process, and look at some of them and get a chance, see exactly, the materials and how people talked about that specific work. And what we did was we picked early work, mid work, late work. So different times with different materials, different activities. With Curtis, for instance, she worked in sculpture, then she worked two-dimensionally, she's worked with photography, now she's working sculpturally again. So we looked at work and the materials that she was using at different points in time. Um, that is kind of all um, stuff that we've talked about. Again, the last thing from the past that I want to talk about and bring up again is the obituary. So if you haven't thought about it since a half year ago when we talked about obituaries, the video is up on our YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Just take a look at it to remind yourself of how important it is. And I will say that just the other day, I looked someone up because I didn't know their work. It was a poet actually, and there was on that person's wiki page as documentation for one of the things that was listed there, an obituary. So that's a place where you get something published that can be referenced because Wiki does not take as substantiated information anything on the artist's own website, which may seem odd to you, but that's just the way that they function. So this is the easiest way to have a published document with any information
Wait,
because
you
it has
put
to be published.
you put your obituary on before you die?
You should write it so that someone in your family or someone close to you can send it out. You weren't in this little workshop I did, I guess, Liz, but
No.
basically I talked about like where it can go and how to approach it, and it's all on it's on a video on our Zoom, our Zoom videos from
On the website,
no, on our YouTube channel.
YouTube. Okay, thank you.
YouTube channel. Yeah. Um, so again, it's it's something that you can do really easily because if there's anything that you think it's important or someone wouldn't know that you've done and you want it there, that's where it can be referenced and where it's printed. It has to be a printed source. It has to be a public source for wiki, and then from the wiki it'll be quoted for other things. So I encourage you, if you haven't watched the video, you weren't present, to watch it. And even if you had, do it again because maybe it'll kind of shake you up into doing it at this point in time. So I want to talk about moving forward. And I'm going to turn my camera here. Let's see, to show you this beautiful
Portfolio.
portfolio. Cloth, beautiful, black. And I am going to solicit all of you to contribute, contribute in the sense of donating a work, because as we started out, we talked about all the work in the studio. And this is an invitation to bring a piece of work on paper and donate it into this collection, which will then be presented and offered to a museum along with our books. And I will make an initial foray into this undertaking and see how it goes. I mean, if we get one museum as we go down the list to accept it and take it into the collection, then we can go on to another and another. And I would urge you to think of this as not only rescuing like one piece, but as a foothold into a collection. That once a museum has a piece of yours in the collection, that you can then go with something major, whether it's a sculpture or a big painting or a whole portfolio of something of your own work. So this is what I am proposing. I think that it looks good. It's very heavy, and it can take work up from 18 to 22 inches, up to 18 by 22 inches. And because of the way that museums are with, even if they decide and it goes through the curators and the department and the acquisitions committee, it comes to the point of a deed. And so with each piece that's contributed, I'm going to ask you to also have a written statement. There'll be a written statement for you to sign that you are essentially donating this and giving this as a gift for this project, to this project, and for this project. Because I don't think a deed would go to all 20 artists or 22 artists. I don't think it could work that way, although I have to say I've only worked with my own work up to this point.
You'll do you have that form that you want us to sign?
I will create one.
Okay, Jan,
Yeah.
what are you recommending in terms of timeline, or more recent works, older works, or you're just totally leaving it open?
I'm leaving it open to you. I
Okay.
mean, ideally, it would be great if we had a museum saying, yes, we want a collection from the 70s and one from the 80s and one in the 90s. I mean, it'd be great if somebody stood up and said, wow, this is the best and most important thing, and we need this at SF MoMA.
Right.
So, but at this point, just the way we did 2020 as a survey of our work and
Right.
how we felt about our whole career, let's take this as a one-off.
Right. Okay, great.
Find the piece that you think speaks for you
Okay.
and fits within the box. You know, this has a depth that should cover our pieces of paper. I'm sorry that it can't be like, really huge, but
Right.
in order to get it in here, that's what we have to do.
So the box is 18 by 22.
No,
Two.
the artwork can be 18 by 22. The box has an
Okay.
extra inch all around it because you have to be able to get the edges without damaging them and move them around. Yeah.
So I have a question. Yeah, I mean, this sounds really great, but I know you've been giving books out to different museums.
Mhm.
And so are you planning on a particular museum in the beginning to donate these to?
My first is SF MoMA because I think it makes the most sense for them as opposed to, I mean, I believe something like this should be in their collection.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And then if it's a piece on paper, is it just supposed to be with acid-free paper on the top and the bottom, or packaged in some way or?
Everything's going to have glycine in between. Yeah, there's going
Mhm.
to have to be. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And should this be, it's just something that represents us right now? Or, I mean, I don't know if I have work I'm doing now that really represents all my previous work.
Doesn't have
you
to
know?
be now. Kim just asked
Yeah.
the same thing. No.
Yeah.
What do you want to put
Okay.
into it? What
Right,
you want to
okay,
put
whatever
into
we
it.
want to put into
Yeah.
it, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me
Sounds
jump in.
good. Sounds
here.
exciting.
Hey,
Who's
thank you.
that?
so much.
Jan, who's that curator at MoMA for works on paper or drawings? What would it be?
Well, I actually would have my first conversation with Janet Bishop, who's the chief curator
Yeah.
of everything,
Okay.
and with whom I've had a working relationship for years. So she's,
Uh-huh.
you know, and to talk to her about this project, because I haven't talked to her about this project at all, about, you know.
And she's the curator of who? Of what?
MoMA, SF
Well,
MoMA.
right now, the whole museum.
I'm getting a message, Lulu, that's asking for multiple presenters to share. You want to share your screen?
Yes.
There you are.
You want to share your screen with us?
Yes.
What did you want to present? Lulu, you have a presentation to make?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
But her face, she wasn't in the grid, I think. I didn't see you till
Right,
now.
right.
Yeah.
Not in
Oh.
the,
Was your, well, okay,
I
I can see you.
okay.
Dan,
Did-
do you have a timeline for us?
I'm going to send out an email about this so that it'll be all there for everyone, and you'll have dates and you'll have, you know, time to go through all of this, and it, you know,
Yeah,
it should be
nice.
fine.
Thank you so much. I think this is a fabulous next step.
And
And how do you want us to get them to you?
oh, she'll figure.
Well, no, I'm around the corner from Carol. If you can come to Carol's, you can come to me.
Yeah.
I have
Right.
to tell you that this box is very heavy just by itself, you know, just to demonstrate. I mean, I need two hands and it's very heavy. I can barely lift it. And this is without artwork in it. It's very well made.
Did someone make it, Jan? Like,
I purchased it. I purchased
okay.
Yeah, I purchased it. And
What about reverse glass paintings
Hmm.
or just paper?
Paper.
I can, yeah, paper.
Only
Paper, you
paper.
can't have you. I'm sorry.
You can't have textiles?
Paper. Paper.
If
you
your
can have
textiles are as
content.
wait, if your textiles are as thin as a piece of paper and can be handled that way,
Mhm.
you know, I don't know. You want it to be handled a certain way, right?
Yeah.
Not really.
Maybe we should have a sidebar conversation another time.
Yeah, but I think something could be worked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Good idea.
you know, if we're I can tell you that in these boxes that I have here, and my own boxes are just like they're just cardboard boxes, but the depth is the same, and I can get 30 photographs in there,
Wow.
and that's it. And that's not on heavy paper. It's like really thin paper, and it's not as thick as like most paper that you would be doing a watercolor on even. So I think that for the, you know, if we have like 20 people putting their work in there, we have to take that into consideration. And, you know, if we get this out, then the next one we can reconsider something else. I mean, you know, if anyone here wants to like lay out and have a box made, I mean, I laid out for this, then, you know, we can discuss that. But I think we should start with like a baby step, just the way we started with one book. And I didn't lay on everyone. We're going to do like a whole cycle and like concentrate on every. I mean, how would you have reacted if I told you all that like 7 years ago? It would have seemed so enormous. Like, how do we do this?
Right.
Right? It's been an overwhelming project.
And your idea is to donate it to the museum?
Well, I have a more complex idea than that. I
Yeah.
have an idea that goes between a donation and support from the museum back, which wouldn't be like the price of the value, but would be the argument being to enable us to have the material wherewithal to sustain our activities with doing the same thing again and etc. Keeping our website up. I would have a certain number that would actually be like a donation back, as opposed to a purchase. Or, I mean, the museum might prefer to do like a partial gift. I don't know. Basically, we can't sell anything, we as an entity, but I do have an art center that could serve as a fiscal sponsor, and we could get a donation that way. So, those kinds of things are really like little problems compared to like the idea of opening the conversation for getting the works into collections.
Mm-hmm.
And
Good.
we don't want to make it so that it's difficult for them. We want to make it really easy for them so that they can say yes. And this is a time where every museum has to think long and hard about the acquisition of every little piece of paper. I mean, for those of you who, I mean, it's really quite extraordinary, the space issues, the conservation, the cost for them to be able to maintain the collection.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
I know everyone here has had a lot of different experience with acquisitions and museums, and you know that it's different with every institution.
Right.
The bigger the institution, the more critical the acquisition is, not in terms of the quality of the work, but the commitment to the cost and space and time and staff. And smaller institutions are going to prove a lot more, they're going to be more open to this.
Hmm.
And, and it's something that once there's some success, then every, success builds on success, then everybody, you have validation, you have a different kind of interest. And I think it'll get easier. And then everyone can pick up and do the same thing. Each one of you can find your institution that you have a special relationship to.
Hmm.
So,
Thank you. That sounds really, really great.
Mm-hmm. Good idea.
okay. Well, so our time isn't going to run out for another 4 minutes. So when we come back, we can all do our catch up on what everyone's been doing. But are there any questions about anything else? Our books have all been sent out to the libraries. They got sent out last week. Um,
Do we have a list? Didn't you already send out once? Which libraries? I've sent it.
yes, I
Yeah.
sent it out and I resent it.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we'll find it.
I resent it as recently as last week.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you did?
You did?
I don't recall
I
getting
didn't get that.
I didn't get that.
that.
Maybe you didn't go down to the bottom of the email about having sent out all the books.
Okay.
We'll check
On
it.
that email as an attachment.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, I missed that too. Okay.
Let's see. Want me to look?
Mhm. Probably there.
No, not that one, but that one. Huh. More. See more.
Anyway,
Huh.
I sent again. It's the same list.
Yeah. Okay. All
It's
right.
the list. And what else can I say? It's annotated. It has anyone who sent me an email that said I sent a book to so and so, I added it.
Mhm,
And the
mhm.
best way is to like send me an email with any information you have. If you have books and you're sending them to other people and another institution, send me an email if you want it on the list and I will add it onto the list.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think at this point, just the emails are going to form an incredible
Welcome to making them
history.
our
Sorry?
I heard that, but I can't tell.
I can't tell where it's coming from.
No.
Hmm. Um,
Hmm.
anything else about business?
Hmm.
Businessy stuff? Okay. All right. Um,
The book looks good in meaning that you had to change publishers. It looked good.
yeah, I think
And close.
it looks good with all the others. Carol got the right weight of paper. It just looks perfect with everything else. Nobody else would know that it was
No.
printed
Mm-mm.
differently.
Right.
Just
Good.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you go to Autumn Press?
Mhm.
Did you use Autumn?
Yes.
Yeah, used
Yeah.
on because I've worked with Miguel before, but it's
Yeah.
he's not easy only because he got rid of all his customer service people.
Oh,
Ah.
Yeah, so everything goes through Miguel. So it took a few rounds to get it right. And it's not quite the same, but it's close enough. Most people won't notice.
no, no.
Great.
I really liked the essay this time. I thought it was especially pertinent and thorough. The way she laid down the history, of the era and what was going on politically, and